Welcome to the Bible Belt Bros podcast. Today is a special day for a couple of reasons. One, my wife and I, we got a puppy. Her name is Darcene. Don't know the middle name yet. Hope. So we found her. We got her in a pound from the pound, and it was really sad. I guess they found her with a bunch of litter in a field somewhere in Tulsa. So we got a new puppy. She's the best. And you can go on our Instagram or my Facebook and see pictures, because that's where the pictures are. So anyways, today on the podcast, we have a good buddy of mine. His name is Ben.
Hello.
Hi, Ben. Ben, he works for some mysterious nonprofit organization. I don't know the name of it. That's why it's mysterious.
It's not that mysterious. Life Steps.
Nothing like a name that doesn't tell you what you do.
Well, the full name would be Life Steps World Ministries. So
it's still very vague.
It tells you it's a ministry and tells you where you do stuff in the world.
And with life. About
Yes.
life. Helps with life.
Yes.
So Life Steps. So what do you do for this ministry, Ben?
So I would be the admin person, the local missionary with teaching and organizing, as well as the IT department some days, as well as a little bit of accounting and bookkeeping, office cleaner, email coordinator, communicate to donors and prayer requests, and copy edit, proofread, a little bit of everything.
So when I was in youth ministry, we had this thing called Other Duties as Assigned.
Other duties.
That sounds like your job title.
Right, my title is marketing manager, but that doesn't really answer the question of what I do.
Because marketing could mean like the trash, the way the trash cans are filled or not.
Yes.
Markets your company in a light.
Or the vacuums, you know.
Yeah.
I have a dog. I bring my dog to the office. It needs a vacuum every week. You know?
Exactly. I want a shop dog so bad. Darcy, you better be a shop dog. She's a good dog right now. She's just asleep.
She's passed out.
She's passed out on, like, half her body's on her bed and the other half's on the floor. She doesn't understand what a dog bed is yet, but
So she could be a very good shop dog.
yeah, exactly. Like, if she
For the
likes it like
stage.
that, I just sneak her into work all the time. So I'm glad it was Friday. Just came home, played with the puppy, put a little money on some baseball games, basketball games. Speaking of basketball,
The Thunder.
the Thunder.
Yeah.
How are they doing? They're not doing very good at all.
No, we'll see if we make it through the first round. My thoughts are we won't, even though it's the Jazz.
Well, the Jazz did beat the Warriors by like 40 points going into the playoffs.
Oh, right. Yeah. No, I'm not saying that the Jazz aren't talented. I mean, all season long. I mean, they have moments where they're just on fire and go on these winning streaks, putting up points against competitive teams, you know?
And it's just one of those, in a league right now where it's built around superstars, you have your big threes, like in most of the main teams. You got Harden, you got CP3. Who's the third person that you'd say on the Rockets? There's Harden, CP3, and then there's Ariza, who's kind of a role player.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe there's just two.
Maybe there's the unspoken third. Or
There's Eric Gordon, who comes
Yeah.
off the bench, but he hadn't done much this playoff so far. But, yeah, but it's a league built around superstars, and the Jazz don't really have any. They have no all-stars on their team for sure.
Right.
They have a runner-up rookie of the year, so like that's the closest thing they have to an all-star is somebody who's been in the league 1 year right now. Whooping up on the Thunder. Like, you got Joe Ingles, I think is how you say his name.
Yeah.
A white dude
Spelled with
who
an
can't
I.
shoot and is shutting down like the Thunder
Right.
on defense. I was just
Yeah.
like,
He's good.
and,
Yeah.
and it's just really frustrating. Like,
Well, they work together as a team. And that's the biggest thing that for the last 2-3 years the Thunder have not done is work together as a team. And I blame one teammate who's responsible for that.
you're more of an anti-Westbrook.
I'm an anti-West.
You're not.
Yes.
You're not a Westbrook apologist. I
No,
guess
I'm
that's
not. Like I think he's great. He's talented. The dude can, just go on a run. Just him versus 5 people, he could probably win the game. I mean,
he is definitely the hardest. Like, he dies for every ball.
Oh,
that
absolutely.
was one thing I heard about him is, like, even in the All-Star game, like, he wants to win that game. Where most people in the All-Star game are just goofing off, not playing defense.
Yeah.
Like, no, he is playing defense.
Yes.
At all times.
But with that competitiveness, there's a level of, let's just say entitlement. Let's just say when things aren't going his way, he gives up and quits and turns angry, and I think that plays off into his whole team atmosphere. And
I think there's the give up and quit aspect, yes, but I think more is when it's not going the way that the team should. Like if Paul George is not hitting the shots,
right,
he's gonna stop passing it. Like, he's not just gonna stick with the game plan.
He's just gonna go into I got to do it myself.
He's not gonna trust the process,
right?
Like, he's just going to, like, nope, I'm gonna take it over. And I think that was the thing when Kevin Durant left the Thunder. Like, and now I hate Kevin Durant, and he's really become like a punk.
Yeah, I saw your toilet paper in there.
Yeah, they got toilet paper with Kevin Durant's face on it.
Yeah, I liked it.
But, like, now Kevin Durant is such a punk since he's gone to
he
Golden State. And just, I mean, I think he has the most technicals in the league. He argues with the ref all the time. He's like a mama's boy who's not trying.
He makes a lot of Twitter comments.
He has fake Twitter accounts to comment on his comments.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
You didn't see that? He got caught, like, this is like a few months ago, but he got caught having multiple Twitter accounts where he was defending himself online.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with Kevin Durant is he cares what people think about him so much.
Yeah.
And then,
well, that was the problem when he was in Oklahoma. I think he cared about what people thought, but he didn't say anything because he's got this super bubbly or this angry bubbling teammate that would, like, probably explode on him. So I think Kevin Durant was just silent and went in on him. So.
And at that time, if we had a choice, we would have dropped Westbrook for Kevin Durant. Like,
yeah, the year before Kevin Durant left, I kept saying, I wish they would trade West.
Yeah,
I wish they
you're
would get
kind of like,
rid of him.
you can't wait till Westbrook goes to the Lakers.
Yeah.
And then, we have Kevin Durant. Like, it was KD for life was our kind of, as a fan, who we rallied behind. Because Westbrook is a lot better now than what he was then. And that's the thing with Westbrook. He shoots so many threes, and his 3-point percentage is terrible. So, but he just jacks up these shots, and it's just like, dude, like, that's not your game, for one.
Take 2 steps across the line, boom, gonna throw it up.
Yeah,
see if
and then if he's not open, he would just dump it off to KD with 3 seconds left on the shot clock, and KD has to throw up a 3. So I can see, like, he was getting grenades from Westbrook, and he'd be mad, but the dude could have had the team behind him. We were ready to drop Westbrook for him. That's the truth.
Well, and really, I think the last year and a half of KD at the Thunder, I don't think he played to his caliber. I think he was just mentally checked out. I mean, the whole time he's been with the Warriors, look how well KD is playing. I mean, it's...
Well, some argue to say when Steph Curry is out, at least in a regular season, they were losing a lot more games than everyone. They're like below 500. When Steph Curry is in and KD is out, they're undefeated. So there's a little bit there, but yes, he's getting more open shots. You know, when you got three other all-stars on your team, when you're starting 4 of them are all-stars. You're going to get the open shots that you're not going to get when you're double teamed in Oklahoma City.
Right. And I think
because people are daring Westbrook to shoot the 3. Like that's
right.
And Westbrook's going to do it. He falls for that trap every time.
All the time. Every single game. I mean, even on games he does really well, he still falls for the trap I could make this 3. No, you can't, West. Don't try.
And if he does, and that's the worst part is when he does make 1 3, then you're like, crap.
I know. He's throwing it up, and I always say, I get this big sigh, and then he makes it, and I just kind of shake it off like, okay, well, that was a fluke, but thank you. We needed that.
So, anyways, the Thunder played tonight against the Jazz. I think, aren't we down? Oh, a series tied 1-1.
1-1.
Going into Utah. So, when this airs, we'll figure out whether or not they won or lost that game.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
and then do we play again on Monday?
When I don't,
Or is it Tuesday?
I don't have the schedule in front of me. You're not supposed to ask I'm the asker of the questions, Ben.
My bad.
Okay. Monday, the day that this podcast come out, you guys can watch the game and see what our frustration is like with Westbrook.
Yeah.
But I love Westbrook. I love his attitude. I love how hard of a player he is. I think Paul George is a little overrated anyway when he came over.
I do too.
You got Carmelo, who's not in his prime, which is funny to say because I think I'm a year older than Carmelo. And so, like, to me to say Carmelo is too old to play, like, it's really a dig on myself. So I don't know how I feel about that. So
are you past your prime?
I'm definitely past. I don't even know if I had a prime.
Yeah.
Like, I just got a growth spurt, like, last year. So I don't know.
That means your prime is coming.
I guess. Maybe I'm just aging slowly.
Well, I think it's a good series. I think we'll get through the first round.
We'll see. I believe the winner of this series plays Houston in the next series.
We're done.
And then we're done.
We're done. I remember last year playing against Houston, and I almost had to go to the hospital because I'm pretty sure I busted an artery. Or like a nerve or something.
Had a little anxiety attack.
Oh, it was just awful. And this year I've tried to take a step back from the Thunder, especially because they just frustrate me so much. So we'll see if I can watch every game. If we make it to Houston, we'll see if I can watch every game.
I may not watch every game. I probably will, though I shouldn't, because when you already kind of know the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
But I watch for those once-in-a-lifetime games. And I see him. Like, my wife will be asleep on the couch, but I will see the game-winning shot. She'll just watch the replay later.
Yeah.
So,
but you don't know what it took to get to that.
I know. You don't know the feelings and the emotions and
see, during towards right after the All-Star break, I stopped watching the Thunder because there was just a period where it was like they would have great games and then blow it in the last 2 minutes. And like have to like come back from this deficit and then still blow it. And there were some of those incredible shots, but I'm okay that I missed them because I didn't have a heart attack.
Yeah. You'd had 3 heart attacks to get to that incredible shot.
Right.
Well, that's the Thunder also. If they're ever like up by 12 with 4 minutes left in the game, I'm panicking. If they're down by 4, we got a shot. You know? And that's how I've always felt. I felt like Westbrook especially is not he's not a game manager in that sense of a point guard. You know, he is not, because he's still throwing up quick shots when you need to be running that down. But then he'll go the opposite route and just wait till there's 2 seconds left on the shot clock and throw up a prayer. We miss it. They make a 3 on the other end. You got a 6-point swing. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden...
And then they just throw the ball away to one of the fans sitting in the front row.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay,
this is how it's going to be. All right.
There goes 6 seconds off the clock. Yeah, what was it? One of the last games in the season, I think they went into the fourth up by almost 20 and blew that lead. I couldn't tell you which game it was, but even if they're up by 20 going into the fourth, you still can't count that the Thunder are going to pull it out.
Exactly. Like,
they could blow a 20-point lead in 10 minutes. Well,
in one of the most recent games, I think the big 3 for the Thunder made 0 points in the fourth quarter.
Probably Melo?
Westbrook, George, and Melo missed every shot in the fourth quarter.
Oh, yeah, all of them.
And we lost home court advantage because of that.
Yeah.
Thunder, man. So these kind of things... this kind of experience with the Thunder, with the heart attacks, these are the reasons that we are involved in Celebrate Recovery.
That's right.
Because there's hurts, there's habits of watching our demise, even though we're... Right. And then there's hang-ups of talking about this over and over and over again, like about how bad Westbrook did or the Thunder should have won. So that's why we go to Celebrate Recovery, because the hurts, habits, and hang-ups for the Thunder.
Right, because if I didn't go to Celebrate Recovery, I'd probably go to the bars.
Yeah.
Which is why I go to Celebrate Recovery, is because to not go to the bars.
I've never gone to the bars before. I guess I have just not in the sense that people say that they've gone to bars, I guess. Does that make sense?
Sort of.
Like, I've gone to bars, but
you
it's
don't
like
say, we're going to the bars.
It's like way later in life, I guess. It was like in my late 20s when I was going to a bar, not bars for one, and then it was, I don't know, it was just weird. I'll probably edit that out because that made no sense. But I was never the guy like after high school. I was like, let's go to the club, because then I was still like in ministry and stuff. So
right. So to go to the club, yeah, you probably wouldn't.
When I got caught going to a club
right.
is when I got kicked out of ministry. So I had to keep it a secret. And when you're in ministry, like that was probably the worst thing for me was like I had to keep it a secret. That just made it worse because then nobody could call me out on it.
Right.
I don't know what the answer for that is. It's not, would never have been acceptable either way. But
yeah, anytime. Jim said something this last Tuesday at Celebrate Recovery. It was, if you can't talk creatively about your issue, then it's probably causing destruction.
What do you mean by creatively?
Well, he was talking in the terms of our inventory, the stuff that we've gone through in our past that either has the good, the bad, the ugly, the things that have hurt us, the people that we have hurt, everything in between. And he said, he was talking in terms of denial, having denial about issues in our life, whether it's a current problem or a past, not being able to forgive someone or being secretive about an addiction, whether that be, a drug addiction or pornography or something. But he was talking about being able to share openly with a sponsor and with people, even as we've progressed in recovery, we have to be able to share our experiences and be open about them. And he said, if you can't talk creatively, I mean, if it's a secret, if you're trying to hide it, minimize it, or just you can't be open about it, then it's probably causing destruction, whether there's a resentment or a fear or something in there that is destruction.
That's a good word.
I don't know if that answered your question.
Kind of, yeah. Well, like James, one of the verses we read a lot is James 5:7. Confess your sins to one another so that you may be healed.
Yeah.
And so when you're keeping things as a secret, that for me, that's been the problem is like there's no healing there. And so it's just constantly hurting myself to try to feel better or to numb it, instead of getting the healing from it.
Right.
That rhymed.
You're a poet.
I'm like Lecrae.
Didn't even know it.
Dad jokes. That was a dad joke.
Yours or mine?
Yours.
Oh, yeah. I'm full of dad jokes. I'm not a dad, but I'm full of dad jokes.
Yeah.
This is the best kind.
Yeah, they are. They're pretty great.
I mean, I learned them from my dad, so I just reiterate them.
Shout out to dads.
Yeah.
I have one, too.
That's good.
I actually have a couple, so... Ha.
I just got the one. And it's not even my biological one.
Well, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
I have a biological and a...
Yeah, I have one of those. I just don't know where.
Oh, gotcha.
He's somewhere.
Well, this took a turn.
We're on a train where we're not sure we're going to end up.
Yeah, exactly. This is why we're supposed to talk about what we're going to talk about before we talk about it. But Ben and I, we are in a group together. We've been in the Celebrate Recovery group for a couple of years now.
Yeah,
right? Going on 2 years.
2 years. Yeah, because it was June of 2016. It was right when I quit my job and went into full-time ministry, starting with the Celebrate Recovery Summit. Because we started that group, and I had to take the first 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
We had this meeting where both of the leaders, me being one of the leaders, were like, you have to show up to every single meeting. You can't miss a meeting. And then as a leader, I say, okay, I'm going to be gone the next 2 weeks. I'm going on a spiritual quest journey, figure out life thing.
Yeah. That's crazy.
That was 2 years ago.
So yeah, was that your first group that you led or co-led?
Yep.
Nice. I got you.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Now you lead like a group every day. It's insane how busy you are with Celebrate Recovery.
Just about. Yeah. We lead the one on Sunday, which is in newcomers, and then the one with you, which is the next step study, The Journey Continues.
Yeah, which we did that. We're doing that one. Journey Continues.
Right. And
I have a bone to pick with you.
Okay.
About this group.
Okay.
So one, love everybody that's in it.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody that's in it. But you tricked me. Okay, so here's the deal. Apparently, going through this group, this book, The Journey Continues, the end result is that we're supposed to lead another group.
Right.
Which has now forcing me to lead another group and have another group. Right. Eye roll emoji inserted right there. So I just,
Well, I'm not forcing you.
Yes, you are. That's
just the Holy Spirit.
That's not the Holy Spirit. It's written in the book. Like when I show up one week and you're like, all right, when are you guys starting your group? What? So you tricked me.
You guys are the one that started about switching our days so that you guys could start a group.
Well,
the questions are just designed to force the conversation, I think.
Yes, and that conversation has been forced.
Yes.
And no, I'm kidding aside. I'm excited to start a group later, right. But I just wanted to come up with that on my own. I was already thinking about doing it. Like, what was I going to do after this group is over was to maybe co-lead another group with somebody else. But now I feel like I'm being told I have to do it.
But how long on your own do you think it would have taken you to get to
years,
that point?
Ben, years. This is a life process. And in my time, I would have came up with that idea.
Well, this is just pushing fast forward on that.
So do you have a preference between like the Tuesday meetings when everybody comes together as a group or the small meetings? What's your preference?
I prefer the small meetings. I love Tuesday. I love being a part of the service just because it's not that I don't love being a part of a church service. I so much more value a CR service where it's designed and focused on recovery. And it's a little less churchy. It's still pretty churchy. There's still a lot of Christianese. But it's
you can, like, coming from a Baptist background, I can tell that it's Baptist-y.
Yeah.
For sure.
Baptist out of California.
It's like you can't do a Christian event. Like when we have at our church, we call it Don't Go to Church Sunday, which it's a play on words because instead of going to church, we go serve. But then also technically we're not going to church. We're going to a box. But that's a whole nother question. Whatever. So like how are we not going to, if you're saying we're not going to church on Sundays as a normal, and then we have an event called Don't Go to Church Sunday, like what's that about? I thought we weren't going to church. Anyways, but we always like start off with like a song.
Confusing.
Yeah, I know. It always starts off with a song or two. Like it's like every like Christian thing you do, and it's like, let's get together. Hey, Brother Joe, can you sing us a couple songs? Get us in the mood to like you just
get us in the right element. Let's push pause on whatever's going on in life.
Celebrate Recovery is the same way. Like when we started it at Angus a long time ago, and it was just like, this is just like a normal church service is what this is. But different. It's normal. The thing I love about the Tuesdays, and for me, just for the record, I guess I prefer the smaller group meetings anyway too. But the thing I do love is how there is not a main leader in that church. It's a lot of like it has that early Acts church feel to it where there is no main pastor that comes up every week and gives a lesson. There's actually multiple people that come up throughout the service. One's reading the scriptures, one's handing out
and a lot of new people too.
And that's like a perfect way for them to get involved. And you give them a job, and they're just reading a script, but it's different. Like you're not seeing the same face, like which to me like is a great thing. And I feel like churches. We went to a Methodist church. I went for the first time a couple months ago, and they have people come up and do scripture readings and stuff. But you still have your main main speaker at the end of it, you know. And so
who brings it all together.
Very
formal and structured and
yeah. And so
polished. That's the word, polished.
Yeah. And so with Celebrate Recovery, you have people giving testimony that have never spoken in public, and it shows.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're like, this is awesome. You know, like,
well, and with
this
every
is definitely
person,
not like the cool, like, I want to bring my friends to this because this is so cool,
right.
and everybody's going to be so impressed with this charismatic guy giving a testimony. Like, that's not what it's about. It's
right.
just about like, hey, this is my real life, you know, like, and this is my struggle. And as they're struggling and as they're telling their story, whether or not it's the same struggle, like, I connect with their mindset of going
right.
through those struggles. And I'm like,
well, I think that has a lot to do with the introductions. So at a church, when someone is, hey, I'm Brent, I'm the associate pastor here, you know, I do the announcements or whatever, that's their introduction. Or I'm so-and-so, I help with XYZ. At CR, you get up and people say, hey, I'm John, I celebrate recovery from pornography and XYZ. Or, hey, I'm Linda,
and currently I'm struggling.
And currently, you know, I'm celebrating recovery from drugs and alcohol. And currently, I still struggle with lust and pornography.
And that's
you know?
That's the thing. Like, there's some churches that'll do that. Like, they'll especially like have series where they talk about, you know, the importance of confession and stuff and being open to who you are.
Right.
But like, the funny thing for me is I just hear a lot of pastors like talk about their past, like back in high school when they used to be drinking and partying in high school, and I'm like, you're 45, like. What are you struggling with now? Like,
right.
I get that you struggled in high school and that alcohol was definitely a big proponent of what you were going through, but it's been 20 years. Like, I know there's other things in there currently. Like, yeah. Like, if we have that kind of openness, and that's interesting because you can't just make that up on the spot.
No. And that's what I do like about the Tuesday groups, or just the introductions, is just when people share what they're currently struggling with, sometimes it's raw, sometimes it's unprocessed, and they haven't even thought about it. They're just like, man, this week has sucked.
Yeah, normally I'm not thinking about it until like I'm in that group and like you start like, hey, I'm Ben, and this is been my week, and I'm like, oh, what's my week been like?
Yeah.
And that's when I'm actually like processing that for the first time.
Yeah. But to get back to the question.
Oh, yeah. There's the question.
The small groups I enjoy so much more because there's not a script. Well, there's a script. I was going to say there's not a script, but there definitely is a script. But it's just maybe there's more structure and there's not a lot of filler. It's just all meat, if that makes sense.
Yes, it makes perfect sense. There's good and bad things with that because I hate the fact that I can't talk after somebody shares. I know. Of course. I love to talk. But I'm like, somebody shares something and I like the structure of Celebrate Recoveries. You can't be like, oh man, I feel the same way. Like, I can't validate what they say because
if someone totally has the wrong things, like if someone is saying, you know, God is really teaching me this, and you're like, oh no,
God's
he's
really
not
been showing me that
you
Muhammad is really the way.
Yeah, you can't respond to it. That's the group is designed that the guidelines are in place that you cannot respond to it.
And for newcomers, I get that, like the ability to be able to share unprocessed information, unfiltered information, and not feel the judgment come back, because otherwise you're not going to share what you feel.
Close off.
But Ben, I've been in a group with you for 2 years. Like, I feel like I've earned the right to call you out on your unprocessed
and you can
dumb information
just after the group. That's, I mean, as a Tuesday service, or I'm just going to call it a Tuesday night meeting, you know, large group, that's what coffee and dessert is for.
Yes.
Now, in terms of the 12 steps in the smaller groups, you just do it afterwards. That's kind of the fellowship time. Or you wait till we have the one group outing, and then you can bring it all up. But you can't write down what they said, because that would be breaking confidentiality and anonymity.
So I like show up to that meeting with a book. All right, Ben, you said this.
Then I'd say, Dusty, we need to talk about confidentiality.
For the record, I had been recording a podcast for every week. So I thought it'd be cool to have a podcast with that kind of group, you know, where we're just going around sharing those answers and stuff. But
I think that would break the rules.
As long as everybody knew, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Just like having a group of 4 guys, like going through every week, processing that information, and then people listening being able to like relate to those feelings.
Yes.
It would. I just thought
we'd have to call it something else.
You wouldn't call it
But
Celebrate
yes.
Recovery, yeah, but you could call it Recovery Celebrated.
Yeah, that would work totally. It's a good idea.
But I always thought that would be kind of a cool...
But I got in trouble for doing a FaceTime one time, having a group member FaceTime in. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Because other people could be there?
Yeah, he was on vacation for a month.
Mm. But I guess like other people could be in the room and hearing what's going on was
Right.
the idea.
We were told to not do that.
I get it.
But it did really work.
It did work.
It did work.
All
great.
right, so we just hold on to that
Yeah.
for maybe something in the future.
Yeah. But I was told not to try to do that again.
It's kind of like a man round table. I don't know. Recovery Celebrated. That's the name of it. That's the name of our upcoming podcast, Recovery Celebrated. Well, Ben, thanks for being here. I encourage you, if you're listening and you're struggling with anything, and I believe that we are all struggling with something, a hurt, a habit, or hang up, get involved in your local Celebrate Recovery. They are everywhere. It might be kind of
every day of the week.
Every day of the week, there's something somewhere in your area. So check them out. I guess, is it celebraterecovery.com?
Yep.
And then maybe later, check out Recovery Celebrated. I'm going to buy that web address. Yeah, domain. So check out Celebrate Recovery. Maybe just if you show up to a Tuesday, just know it's kind of weird feeling because just experience.
You got to take it with a grain of salt. Every single one is different. They're all different. It's like the other Friday I went to a Church of Christ Celebrate Recovery. There was no music. It was just all a cappella. That was a little weird to me. But you know what? I'll probably go back to that one because it was different.
And then they put verses on the screen and everybody reads them out loud and you don't know if you're supposed to or not. So just kind of just experience it for the first time.
Right.
And understand that it actually does work.
Go a second and third time.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Just keep coming back.
That's right.
Is what they say.
Keep coming back.
So check that out. Thanks, Ben, for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Go Thunder. See you next week.